It's time for change to move into the real work of the universe. And it's time to understand that we use the matter state to reach the level of understanding of the soul of the man. Now you understand maybe why the Creator has sent his messengers in the name of whatever you have had. Is that they bring the ears that it can be used when the time of the Messiah comes. They can teach the soul and the message, not to oppose. But by them understanding through those who have become Messiahs, to give from their souls to these to elevate, the job is made easy. The school is there and the students are devotedly there. Then there won't be any fight between what they call the Muslims and the Christians. The lamb and the lion will eat and sleep in the same nest. The Christians and the Muslims will sleep and pray in the mosque and in the same church in the name of their souls, not in the name of religion that is used to create so much conflict for the benefit of those who were the hyperactive children. The time has come, the time of change is here. And as I said, my wish is my command. If it's your wish to see peace, the path of peace is laid very clearly. It's the soul of the collective awareness. By giving will create that position of change. No other thing. There is no pen in the soul of the man. And I'm sure once you go into the universal community, you will never see anything written but the balance of the fields of the soul of the existence. Try to be humble enough not to become arrogant in the power that you have understood and you possess. Otherwise, you'll fall in the same path of the church and the mosque. This is what we promised, and this is what we have delivered. We have to understand the operation of the soul, and we have to understand the soul of the man is a star in the cosmos of the universe. If we compare the soul of the man and many of us, 7 billion in one collection, Earth is like a galaxy with so many stars. When we look in the depth of the universe, we see galaxies with hundreds of millions of stars in it. So is the planet Earth. It carries 7 billion beautiful stars, which are the soul of the man. Carries with it soul of so many trillions of animals, plants, and everything else. So if you look, when someone who does not see the physicality of the earth and its content, what do they see? They see a galaxy with so many beautiful lights shining, each one according to their strength, each one according to their position. An infant has a beautiful soul, so has the old man. To those who do not see the physical dimension of this planet, but they see the strength of the field, we are clusters of stars. The human race, every single soul, no one from a distance sees, that's the soul of a fisherman, that's the soul of the cosmologist, that's the soul of a president. They all shine irrespective of the physicality. This is the magic. This is what the new science has to bring to man. When we look through our soul, we see nothing but beautiful star in the other souls. And this is the break. This is the understanding. This is what all these teachings are about. Coming to mature to the next level, to understand in the deep space, the universe is the oyster for those souls who serve. Then man is ready to go into space. Then man is ready to become part of the universal community which has been promised. I never promised you heaven. I always promised you the elevation of the man to join the family. And now you have the key. It's you who has to open the door to understand, if I can raise the soul of these people or millions of other souls, that the physical life on this planet changes, then I'm worthy to be part of the universal community. To be there to serve, to expand, to be there, to be part, that in the cycle of life of universe, I become, in being part, I become part of the totality. When man reaches that point, a new dimension in the strength of the soul of the man will appear, which is beyond imagination of understanding of the physical life. It's the gate to the opening of the new life, in a new dimension, which is beyond imagination of what you might call a new beginning, a new cycle. Which that cycle carries with itself the origin of the creation of life in the universe and in the universe. It's the elevation of the soul to serve become the key, not a throne of the physical life. The time is right. The time has come for the man to go through this process.
Welcome everyone to the 87th One Nation, One Planet, One Race for World Peace. It's Tuesday, September 17th, 2019. My name's Rick Kremen, one of your hosts today. Flint Malhazem will be here for a while as well. And we're joined with Carolina Keshe of the Keshe Foundation, as usual, for this presentation, which is a presentation of the Keshe Foundation Spaceship Institute Education Department, part of the public teachings in English. Okay, Carolina, are you ready there to begin today's teaching?
Yes, Rick, and welcome you all back for the new season of the One Planet, One Race, One Nation. A beautiful platform for the Universal Council to share their wishes and to work together with the knowledge seekers worldwide. It doesn't matter from which corner you are present. We welcome you back to join us in this beautiful group and teamwork where we are achieving so much through what we create. I hope you have a pleasant journey today and for all the next ones which were coming. We had our first session today in the private teaching. So let's start and see what would you like to be shared today, that we can put an inspiring journey on it. Who would like to start? Are there any from the Universal Council members that would like to come forward? Or support members? Or knowledge seekers? It's gonna stay quiet. We're gonna have to kickstart the choo-choo train.
Hello, Carolina. This is Peggy.
Hi, Peggy.
I want to say thank you very much. It's lovely to be back from the break and looking forward to where we go this trimester.
We have a lot of new things on our plate since last Thursday and the Thursday before and the Thursday before that one. Doors are opening up and understanding more and more where the journey actually is taking us. So we'll give it a half an hour to warm up, all of you, to find your voices and what you would like to share. I do hope that you all have had a wonderful holiday and a really resting time. The weather had its ups and its downs in different parts of the world, but majority have been able to enjoy a nice warm summer. It wasn't all that bad, but here and there we've seen extreme weathers. And as we will go on those topics later on as there are more people present, because still people are walking in, to create the wishes for the ones which are really in need at this given moment. And most probably we can create a wish in understanding to start sensing or start moving the souls which will be hit these turbulences. As Mr. Keshe said, it's the planet which is positioning itself. So these things have a reason why they are taking place. We are just on their path. As we say, when you walk through a forest and you have created a road, the deer or the hare or the fox or the wolf still have priority in their domain. We are just a visitor passing through. But the same is with us here on this planet. The planet has its conditions. And we unfortunately have put our homes and our family in the path where the planet takes this kind of journey. It's a well-known fact. But how can we create those zones that it can pass through, but that the damage is reduced, as we've seen with Tom Salas out of that experience, and some more reports that have been dripping in, that when people have put ganses around their homes, in their gardens, that the weather conditions are different. The wind is not so strong, the storm is not so heavy, the rain is not so severe. So we can we can gather some more information on those things. And because we're sharing, don't hesitate, don't hold back of what you have been discovering in your journey in the last few months, or even from before that. I know that in France, they are very active at this given moment to work in the agriculture. They have problems with the grapes, and we will be looking forward to receive those results, because we are going into the picking of the grapes this moment. And if it has made any difference in their gardens or their orchards where they have actually applied the ganses, it will be very nice to have a feedback on that. Also, we have started a project working, we had our first meeting last Friday with the Universal Council support members, working together with the Universal Council members. And we have opened the first topic, which is related to our mandate, and that is the platform of education. We will welcome all your inputs, even today on the table, or for the next time, about where you see the problems, but where you see the solution for it. Where can we integrate the plasma technology to bring the change? And I'm speaking about the not privileged people, children, by giving them a chance to open up the doors that they can create and sustain themselves, that they can create that kind of condition that they can look after themselves. You're from all corners of the planet. In this presentation, we know that a lot of people, after they finish their jobs or because they're in the nighttime now, different time zones, they come and listen later on to this platform. We welcome you and we encourage you to open that topic about education, please, to give us the feedback. And how many people do you know that can start taking tasks to work in groups, and how can you introduce them to our teams, and where can you find your way to interact with the Universal Council support members and the council members? What is your wish? What can you realize as a plan so that we can all work together and understand more in depth what is the reality of the problem? How many people have you at your community that know about the knowledge? How many people can you train? How many children do you think that you can reach? And what are the necessities that you're looking for? Because when we teach them from the basic, then they can start building up their independence in agriculture, in decontaminating, in health-wise, energy-wise. We can support them in so many different levels. That is a point that came up in the mandate. There are more points if you're not so much linked up into the educational part. Then open up the mandate, which was presented recently before the break, and see what attracts you, what would you love to do, and bring it onto the platform of like today. But do your research. Know what you can bring that we can join you or support you or give you more access to work with it. That's how this platform will be able to grow. If you share your wish, what you would love to see to be done, and what you need, and where we can find the support to support you to carry it out. But you got to share it with us. so that the support councils can start integrating it in their communities. Because when you bring your points of vision, that you see, I can make a change there and I can carry this and I can change that into the positive, you inspire the other groups which maybe never saw how to solve that kind of problem in that kind of way. And by debating it and listening to one another in a very respectful way, we all getting inspired, because that part of the knowledge goes and gets shared somewhere else and brings a solution in the benefit of so many. So I do invite you to use this platform wisely, with joy, with pleasure, and see where your talents are, and you can come and explore them. And please, I do suggest to become a support member, because the group can grow with as many languages and as many different cultures possible. We are not holding back nobody to take part of such a beautiful group that is and has started growing. And this is the public platform from it, because we have one target, and that is world peace. So anybody wants to start?
Hello, good day, met Arno. I hope you all had a fine holiday. Hello, Caroline.
Hi, yourself.
I was working last weeks with the knowledge, and I see a lot with also when some knowledge seekers became ill and why they became ill, and I wish that we come together when someone is ill to see why it happens and start learning from it, because I see a lot of information what is shared, and it's so beautiful what is shared. Everybody sharing their stories, but also sharing some wrong way of working with the knowledge, what can create conditions like Sandra has in his neck. And when we go into that, then the knowledge grows too. Then we can help each other, and also because the knowledge is more understand among us all in that way, then we can also share, because sometimes people start copying what they see on television, and then they get the bads of it, because Mr. Cash exclusively always explains not to carry cans on your body. And that is because if you do that constantly, you create a point where you take the energy out. And because you created the demand in the environment will create the demand to maintain it. And then when you're not in that environment, you have like an energetic eruption on that place, where because your emotion is going that way. If you carry it too long, and it's hurting that person, but it's also hurting all the other persons who start understanding it wrongly. And if we create for everyone in the class who has a problem, just a moment that we talk about it, what we think about it, how it maybe could be manifested, then we get more sights inside the knowledge, because we know. Everybody knows it, but we oversee a lot. And in our enthusiastic, then we give wrong wimples outside, that people start blaming the knowledge in the future. That is what we have to protect. That the wrong understanding. Yes, that is my wish. Okay, thank you.
I said, what do you mean by what you just brought on the table?
I mean that if we create a moment for, if someone allows it, not with pressure, but if someone is ill, has become ill during his that we create a moment, and he's also working with plasma science, that one from our group, that we can, if that one allows it, that we can go into how it has manifested, so we can we can use the more comprehension to create the outcome we need.
Oh, you mean to take the time to understand why it was created in the first place?
Yes, and then all knowledge seekers know why, what it means to carry GANs in a certain condition, that you create a gravitational point to take out the energy. Or if you use the same strings, that you feed the environment. It is like if you have created an organ because you have created the need uh, uh, to feed the environment, you create motion because you take out, yeah, you create different conditions, and then the motion is going in that direction. And then if you take it away, it's like the motion is still in the same place, and every cell is like a bathtub with water, maintaining and controlling each other's motion. So the energy will still go out there in an order that maybe it's not desirable. And that part, I wish to go in. I also sent to the educational part that I want to create a lesson about it, if they are okay with it. Because if that is two pieces are understood, then all the knowledge seekers and all who follows knowledge seekers know why you don't need to carry GANs on your body the whole day and night. Even for cats, they create a necklace to force the soul. And Mr. Keshe, I see it for myself. I don't talk this because Mr. Keshe said it. He's always right about this. We don't control the soul. It's not good, not nice. And if you give it like it's there to take, you have seen, you have helped a lot of animals. They to go take for themselves when they need that field. They go to that place, and then they decide for themselves. But if they have managed that part, then some people create when they think they have like medicine created the balance, then they do, and then condition it 24 hours a day, and that is not the right way, because then you create a gravitational point, then there becomes a new organ, and that organ we can see as cancer or if other. But our kidneys has manifested in the same way, from the energy back to the matter. It's exactly the same. That is why if you carry the whole time disbalance as GANs, that's the beauty from GANs. It is this disbalance why we can connect with it, why it's dynamic, and this disbalance balance. So it takes from the center the most, and creating the gravitational point in the middle. And then because you create a motion in an environment, the environment will create the environment to, to maintain the motion. So you recreate all things. Yeah. And
Yeah,
that I see
it's a
there we need, sorry.
it is a topic that it comes quite a few times onto the platform in different private teachings, that when somebody asks a question or puts a problem on the table, it's not getting ignored. It really gets opened up, because you have to take the person back to the point just before it started, or a few months before it started, in some cases a few years before it started. It's to understand what took place that time that they couldn't deal with it, and they have created that kind of motion that then reveals itself in the complaints physically or in other different ways. But you can always take the person back, and that's the best solution, from the point where it started, because they know it is existing in their memory. It's not a hocus pocus, it's not something so difficult to do. You just have to be in a dialogue with that person and bringing them back to the point what happened just before. Usually, in most cases, is a few days or a few weeks before the problem starts, what took place. That's where the answer sits, because that is what pardon, has not been understood or has created that field strength. And because it's not dealt with and they forgot all about it, it never got cleaned up. So then finally, because it keeps on moving from one thing to another and it creates more and more chaos, and you cannot suppress it with medicine, it actually doesn't even solve the problem, because you never solve the initial problem. Why was it created in the first place? So you always need to take the person back to the point of reference, and it exists in their memory. They know very well. You just need to allow them to walk back to the path from where it started. That pain, that frustration, that what they could not digest or not accept, or the anger, or the fear, it has different ways of where it was and how it was created. It's not so difficult. And some people walk the path back and open that Pandora box. But then the only advice is just look at it and open it up, because it's a box which has been placed there so many times, so many years, so many weeks, so many months before. Don't go in with it with your emotion. Don't let the emotion trigger you back to make it worse. But look at it from a point of observing and bring the best if it was a painful or a fearful experience, and take the best out of that box or that position. And when you understand and you look at it from that perspective, you can reset everything. That's how you work with the fields, but that is the emotional field strength of understanding. And it has brought a lot of solutions for a lot of people. That's why in the time I try to explain, if you even look globally, where you have malaria and you have dengue fever and God knows so many problems, which is not to one person, but it can go to a whole village. It can go to a huge amount of people suffering with the same. Why is it there in the first place? It's the same Pandora box to open up. It's the same information. What is striking so many people, and what is their condition? That this is revealing itself, that their immune system goes down so badly that they are becoming so sensitive towards, let's say, the mosquitoes or viruses or diphthery or cholera. It doesn't matter what it is. If you look at the social structure of that part where that takes place, the only solution is to create the wish to elevate all those souls, and then you will see the change. But it's all of us that need to work together to put that magnetical field strength of understanding and to send it into that direction. We can solve a huge amount of conditions or change or reverse, whatever word you want to put on it. We can bring the change because we do care. And when we put the energy field strength in the full understanding why it's there, if we focus on it and we gather the field strengths together, we can create the change. As we have brought so many parts in change. You were referring to an individual. I'm bringing you to a different level of understanding how you can work in mass. You can change whole countries, which they are going through this kind of suffering, because you can reach them. It's the understanding of the social structure, and if it's put on the table and it's opened up and we do our research, then you find the truth why these things are revealing themselves in this way. But then, because we're all knowledge seekers, council member, Earth Council, core team members, support members, we're all together and we can bring that change. And I think we will achieve more than going by each individual's illness or problem. As we are a team, and this platform is created for that purpose, is to serve wherever we can reach, whatever we understand that we can reach, to create that field strength for that change.
May I add a small thing? I was not aiming at one person, but I know one person in the group we are all involved with. And I know if we shall create a moment that we go into it, we can collectively understand. And if we collectively understand, then we can collectively release the fields of that knowledge.
Yes, but that person
And
can
now
always
what I mean?
I said that person can always stand up in the classroom or in the public.
That is why they created this wish. I know he has it too, and then it's also some kind of invitation and also a wish together in one. It's like that. It's not architected like that, but it's now I see it's also an invitation if he is it, and I wish it because if we all have clarity, then if clarity is there, it is in our collective soul. And we work to feed our collective soul. And sometimes we have to work by only look to one. What has happened inside our group? And then not to only to help him, but we do it to add the knowledge to our collective soul.
Yes, but yeah.
And that
Yes,
is love. That is what we learn. That is what you teach us.
yes, but
Thank you for that.
there is one thing, and that is you always, the person, when they're present, they got to stand up. We can only help when they come forward themselves. We cannot
I know.
speak
I
and
understand.
do.
But I already came forward. I already talked with him and we had contact. And last week I had contact with my soul. I was visiting him. And so it's okay. I don't step on so much toes. I give him the freedom.
It's not stepping on anyone's toes. It's a matter of you always have to ask permission from somebody.
Yeah, I understand. That is why I don't say names. If he is giving permission, he stand up for himself. I know. I understand. Thank you.
Okay, thanks. I just brought that one wish into a higher field strength to understand more. We can reach more people. And they have not requested, but we know the suffering, we know the pain. So when you go from the point of understanding, you can bring the change, because you don't change anything. You provide the magnetical field strength because it's created by all of us to serve that purpose. Then the souls, and only the souls, will take from that field strength when they're ready. When they're mature enough, they know it's there. But if we don't create the package, they cannot receive. And that is the same for that one individual or for so many. We have to create it for that to be able to serve. That's the beauty. If it's freely given without serving for a purpose of one, or I cannot even say their names. I don't even know exactly where they live, how they live, but I can create the field strength for that purpose, for it to serve. That's how we can change. To be aware that there is, that is taking place. And thank you for sharing. Anybody else wants to share or bring a topic on the table?
Hi, it's me, Ursula.
Hi,
Ursula. I'm very happy to be here today, this first wall piece, and sharing with you what is happening here in the plasma times on July. You can see what was the beginning here, and now it's growing, with many people coming to the oasis. Some of them are not aware of what is plasma science, but they are feeling it. And I got today a beautiful future French teacher. He is explaining them what I couldn't explain because there was no open. But okay, I think they felt many things. But as you know, many of those who are septic, almost French, and all these 6 first European countries, very infected by all the manipulation and with fears and all this, and they find peace here, they find answers, they see how I work, how I become, how I change it also, thanks to this technology and applying it every day with 7,200 square meters. It's a big work. I'm exhausted with my shoulders taking this all, but now I have many help and many supports. Also as UC member Spanish, I got 3 beautiful support, Jeanette, John, and Miguel Lahac. The Mexican, Mayan expert also, he has been at Tijuana with Armen and Felipe, who comes here in soon. I don't know when exactly, but I know there will happening a very important meeting there, so we will wait after this or maybe before, I don't know. They will see when they can. And so I'm very happy to feel that Spanish community is growing. I'm very happy also to see that French new team is growing. Tomorrow first teaching for those who understand French, all welcome. And I will shift then at 9 p.m. to the Spanish regular we have every Wednesday. So I'm very happy because it was a rush time. This time I got also the father of my 2 eldest boy died, and I was very happy to have my eldest who don't speak anymore with me. You know, divorce make many bad feelings sometimes, and now it's finished. It was my biggest wish and I got it. My great wish was also that somebody comes here to teach in France.
Excuse me, Ursula, is there a
Yes.
music
Yes, so
playing
it's
in
my
the
telephone.
background?
It's my telephone, but it's my fix because I have very bad connection here. So sometimes they are calling me there, but it's finished now, and I was happy to make this testimony and to. I was studying. I'm knowledge seeker 7 years now, and I feel how this I wish is your command is working. It's working, really working in so many ways. I can not remain everything, but every day it's a surprise. Every day is a gift from something coming and going or having contact with one and with another and creating one planet, one world, one race, one nation, one oasis, one what you want, but everything is one, and we are the others. Only speak in another language, uh, dressing otherwise, having other habitudes of life, and each one a galaxy with his own stories, family stories, and experiences. And what is important from all this with the friends, neighbors, animals, whatever, vertical people, the trees, you have so many here, and what you can get from this information, what you have every day. Extract your information. Distill it only for you, it's yours. And nobody can feel that, what you feel, but we can feel others. We can feel and help with our being without doing nothing others that applying what we learn and showing them what you have learned. So beautiful in all these years. And this year will be a very great year. And I'm very happy to start it with you on this important day. Thank you.
Thank you, Ursula, for sharing. I know there is a lot of changing taking place. It's a journey. Pardon. And we're all in it. We're all in the same boat, rowing somewhere in one or another direction, picking up a lot of things, adjusting. And yesterday is never the same as it was today or what it will be tomorrow. So many people sometimes say tomorrow is like a black hole, because if you understand that there is nothing there, it means in the understanding you are the creator what tomorrow will bring. And you create it at any second, any moment, conscious or unconscious. And it is a beautiful journey. And I wish you all the best with the French starting tomorrow, and all the other groups, all the other language communities that will start their new journey in this new trimester. And we hope that you come back with your feedback on this platform and share with us how your progress has been and your inspiration. So, anybody else has anything to share with us today or wants to open a topic?
For topic, I can suggest maybe detachment and forgiveness. It's very actual here in this time of life in France and in general everywhere, where has been so many wars in the families or separations, and my God, it's finished now, and I'm very happy to be a part of this, to learn it and to apply it in my life, my own life. Knowing what is schizophrenic, I got a mother. She died when I was not 19, so I charged with this in my youth, and she was a brilliant woman. And thanks to this, I said it sometimes. I forgive all, and I start to loving her and to feel her in my soul. She is there with me, very present. And when we got children, we will always be the mother of our child, to teach them, and they will not do what we say that they expect to do, what we expect from them, but they will observe us and take inspirations maybe later when they are growing. This was my case with my two youngest, beautiful. And I'm very proud of them. They're living with their passions, they are healthy, they are beautiful boys, three boys, and it's just a big gift in my life, in my mother's life. Now I understood also what means the soul children. I got three. And we have with my husband also adopted one in Tibet, only sending 60 euros in each semester. Don't maybe she will came here once when she get older, but we are close to her and we are close to all those who ask us for information or for help or for a shelter. In the Oasis Plasma, I have place. You are always Plasma Provence. You can all come here when you feel to do and have a look at what has happened. So you're all welcome, and I will be very glad to know you once, maybe. Thank you.
You. Any other council member wants to bring their experience over the last few weeks on the table, please? Or have you all gone dormant in the real holiday season? But I don't think so. You're all been very busy bees.
Go ahead, Arno. You have your hand up there. Or sorry, Dean.
It's going to be a quiet start, and we're with quite a few people today.
Hello, everybody. Mic check. I'm clear. Fabulous. I am so glad we're all together again. Peace be with everyone. I talked to you last time, Rick, about art. And as we go forth, agriculture is a passion of mine. But what I do is I get to create art every day. And I would like to give an offering because there are shirts that are printed for people to wear. I have some designs and they just call it out of the ether into my presence on an incredible basis. And because I'm an artist and I just want to share my heart and my vision for peace, and that's what's contained within my work. So if I could have screen share for just a few minutes, I want to show you some things that I would like to give and have printed so that when people wear them, just like what has already been put out there, the plasma fields encompass them. Can I do that? Is that okay, Carolina? Sound good?
To do exactly what?
He wants to show some images that he suggests can help people with their plasma fields.
We'll have a look.
Okay, you want to share there, Dean? Oh, I see you have to be imported there, so.
I already did that.
Yeah, thanks.
Yep.
You should be able to go ahead there now, Dean. We're not hearing you. If you're trying to speak, Dean, you need to unmute. But maybe you're still getting your files ready.
Okay, I'm unmuted now.
Mm-hmm.
And okay, now I'm going to go to share screen. Okay. I'm going to go to photos. There we go. Now, do you see my screen?
No, I'm still sharing. I'll stop the share. Maybe it'll help you find it easier.
Well, I have everything found. I'm just wanting to know if I'm on, if you can see what I have.
No, we can't yet. No. You have
Oh,
to try it again.
okay. It might be on.
No, it's just your image coming in there.
Okay, what I'm seeing right now is I have share screen open on my thing. Now I'm going to push photos and I'm going to push now do you see anything?
No, you have to bring up your photos first, I think, and then the share. I think that's the way it works. Or you need to click on a particular photo instead of just photos.
Okay, well, I'm going to just try this one more time. Otherwise, I'm going to bow out. And Rick, I'll just send you some images. But like I said, there are things, it's given to me. I was created as an artist and as an inventor. And there are just so many beautiful things that have been given to me that I want to share because they heal people as they see them. Okay, let's go back to share screen, start now, displayed on screen, cancel, no. You know, I've had more trouble with this particular application.
Is the share that you're sharing, is the Zoom share, the green?
Yeah, it's the Zoom share.
Okay, and what do you get when you click on that?
And do you see anything yet come up?
It says it started screen sharing, and now we see a picture.
Okay. Well, that's sort of what I would say is that would be a powerful picture, I think, representing intention and how we bring it in through the heart. And, you know, the plasma fields, I just think that, well, I'm the artist, I created it, so I'm probably arrogant on the thing. But I think that something like this would be beautiful, impregnated with the plasma fields. And as I go through and start printing pictures, I would love to have somebody who could show how to put that plasma energy into the inks that are getting printed as things go out. Anyway, I just want to let you know, I'm here to share. I'm here to give beautiful images. If that's what is, what would you say? If I can do that, can you see my screen right here? That with all of the pictures?
We hear a lot of clicking and so on in the background. I guess when you're trying to search or something there, every click is heard. And
anyway, I'm going to get off. I'm just going to.
I'm having a hard time getting it in one size here.
Okay. Well, I'm just going to give my intention. My intention is number one for the agriculture, but number two is to give images so that it help images draw people in and they give them something that nothing else can give them if they have eyes to see. And I just want to be able to share that, give it freely. And with that, I'm going to say, thank you for letting me share, and peace be with everyone.
Okay, thank you, Dean.
Okay, thank you for sharing. I only saw one image, but it was quite a nice image. So, where shall we take ourselves to the next topic? What is important for you to put on the table today? Anybody, any suggestions?
Good day to everyone. Andrea speaking, UC Support Germany or German language. I researched a little bit about schools, which opportunities we have, and which then comes to the question, do we have teachers and how we organize that we collect informations about people who would be interested in teaching plasma technology in schools or however. And there, before I have a few informations, if you're interested about the situation in Austria and other European countries. The question for me was how we can bring the plasma technology education into the school system, which already exists. And there are so-called schools with public rights. At least it's in Austria, Germany, or Switzerland, kind of the same. At least Germany, Switzerland is maybe a little bit different again. And I think this public rights system is through the European Union everywhere in the most industrial states in Europe, the same, kind of the same. And in these schools with public rights, it's difficult to come into with something new because they are fighting about if they have 3 hours or 4 hours maths and things like that. And then there are also other schools with public rights, for example, the how it is called, free choice schools, where you have no grades. For example, the Rudolf Steiner schools, which are in Europe known, or the Montessori schools. And if you make, for example, the primary school or the middle school or the higher school, you have to make every time graduation, so you don't come around marks. And in every case, you don't come around marks. But if we want, for example, to make our own school, and I think it's in all countries the same, that you can make your own project and bring it in at the Ministry of Education. And there you have the most possibilities to fulfill your wishes in a school. And I spoke with a female friend, and she said that's the best, most independent way how you can make your own school. And yes, that was my research. And what was for me important, because we said we should evaluate if we have teachers in the plasma technology. And there for me was the question, what is a teacher? A teacher by us in the most of the European states is a pedagogic educated person on a university or on a pedagogical school. And there is also another term which is called learn companion. They also have different skills and what they are allowed, competences to do with children or to teach, but it's called learn companion. But with this term or with this kind of teachers, you have also a lot of opportunities. So for me, it's clear we are searching not only for teachers, but also for learn companions too. And now the question, when I think at the students or the people I know, and all together, we maybe will find a lot of teachers who would be interested, especially not for different places. For example, when you want to build up a school, there would have to be a lot of teachers to be in the near of that school. And so it would be important to evaluate or to find a lot of teachers. And the question is how we can create a platform to find a lot of people which are teachers or learn companions or whatever everywhere in the world.
Hey, thank you, Andreas. Is there anybody else who has some input on that aspect, the educational?
Hello.
Hello.
It's Pia here. UC from Denmark. I actually got an idea today or yesterday in regard what you were talking about, Andreas. And since this is up with how many teachers, so I got an idea that maybe thought of starting in a simple way with one school in one country. This is based on KF Foundation technologies, and then they open up for the primary school and start one place with those teachers there is now. And then while this school is building and going on, maybe all teachers are not in the same country. They can go and teach like we see here on the internet, while some sessions are there. And at the same time, there could be an opening up to all other schools on the whole planet from this school as a center, so that there could be done a lot of groundwork for getting this knowledge known in a simple form. And then when the school is going on as the first experiment or the first school, they could at the same time show some of the sessions for other primary schools in the whole planet. So that could be one way to open, to get the technology open and known for, and it's also a very protected environment because there's one school at the beginning, and suddenly it will blow, it will flowering, it will it will simply spread maybe quickly, because other students will get up and really find out they want to be teachers. It was just an idea how to start in a very simple way with those teachers which already here. And of course, this primary school, they also have the other subjects they normally have for the native language and English and whatever they have to learn. So it's only the session with the plasma technology that could be done this way in the beginning. Thank you. That was the idea.
Thank you for sharing. The easiest way when you face this kind of structure, you can infiltrate or introduce. Infiltrate is the wrong word. You can introduce the plasma knowledge when you work through your own children or friends that are having children in those ages, is to connect yourself with their science teachers. And a lot of schools are open for invitation as guest speakers. And it's something that creates enthusiasm in the classroom for the children. They experience something they never seen before. And that is your best chance to introduce in a very easy way, in a very friendly way, a new topic in a classroom. And if it is successful, and in according with how open the teacher is, the children are usually blown away with what you show. If you got the teacher not feeling it as a threat to what she has come to understand at her level, she will re-invite you to come back and to share more. So the door is wide open. There is no problem. It's just every school is open for day trips, excursions. If you can't do it in the school, invite a class as a science project to come to a place or to your home to share this kind of information. It's never a problem. It's only from the point of where you stand towards something. How can I take that bridge? How can I create that bridge? The bridge is always made through friendship and bringing something new, something exciting. The more you are excited, the more they will be inspired to come and have a listen and look at what you can offer and share. And we did this project with our youngest, and it was more than embraced in the classroom. And the children are still speaking about it. Unfortunately, Mr. Keshe hasn't had the time yet to revisit the school. But as guest teachers, you always find the door open in any school, because every school tries to expand on top of what they can offer. And this is completely new. You don't need to say too much. You can just request for a guest speaker with a surprise topic. And usually I have not seen many teachers refusing it. Doesn't that make more sense to take that journey that way?
Definitely, thank you. And we don't have to be necessarily educated teachers, right?
Of course not. Why do you have to be an educated teacher? You are already a teacher. That's what Mr. Keshe said last week. You are ahead of the masters which are holding the professorships, the doctorates, the documents that they have done this journey. The only thing is you carry the knowledge within you. Nobody needs to certify nobody And nobody needs to judge nobody on his level of his understanding and his point of knowledge. You are so much far ahead. Go back to Mr. Keshe's last presentation, Thursday. Listen to what he confirmed. You are way ahead. You've gone and worked, you are actually applying plasma. You're working on room temperature. You're not using a tokamak to prove something. You are living knowledge seekers carrying a knowledge which you are teaching and spreading and inspiring so many more. Why hesitate who you are, what you are, and that you need to carry a certificate? You go in as a friend. You go in as a knowledge seeker. That's how you inspire children to become knowledge seekers as well. And when you make that so obvious that you're a simple person and that anyone can do it and every child can do it, you will bring their fear down that they need to be a professor to be able to understand what you're bringing. You don't even need to carry the certificate of a teacher. We use the word teachers because you are actually passing information on to somebody else. That's what's called a teacher. Not the certificate you get because you went to school and you can show I am a teacher. I have a degree in this and I have a degree in that and I have a degree in that. When you're a knowledge seeker, that all disappears because nobody can judge your level of understanding of such a beauty. That's why I said to you, the door is wide open to every school. You being a parent and grandparent, a father, a sister, a mother, a cousin, a next door neighbor, but you are a knowledge seeker. You make the connection through friendship by introducing, by you wishing for the children to receive. Not a single child will ask you anything. They will embrace your gift, what you have brought them that day on wisdom. If we can call it wisdom, it's just inspiring them to go home and do it at home. You open a door of a world of, they might maybe see in what, if you take everything the normal way of going, maybe in 10, 20 years, 30 years after they have achieved their doctorates and God knows what, that they will bump into the plasma. Now you're opening the doors of their creation and their inspiration to do now at this level, no matter their age. You might even inspire their parents and their great grandparents. God knows who you're going to touch. No, you don't need to be a certified teacher. Have we asked you or requested for you to have a degree to be part of this team? No. A knowledge seeker doesn't need to carry no certification. Your knowledge sits in what you do, how you do it, how you present it, and how you apply it with ethos. That is important. That's the only thing that makes you a beautiful knowledge seeker. How you can inspire so many to walk and start discovering this beauty, I call it. Have you realized what we have received in the last 5 years, 6 years? Hundreds of hours of teaching, pure sharing knowledge. It's just there and everybody has access to it. Is it in public domain, private classes? They are protected for certain purposes and they needed to be protected. And there's still people which come in and try to abuse the system. they will be removed, because we had this taking place yesterday. So it keeps on happening. It's no problem. They just teach us what we need to be aware of. That's all. For others not to get harmed. You're on a journey of knowledge. That's why you call yourself, I hope you call yourself a knowledge seeker. Seeking for knowledge. It doesn't carry no certification. It doesn't tell you who you are, what color you are, what language you speak, or who your parents are. It does not matter. It's your beauty standing as a seeker for knowledge. And you have gathered more than you can even imagine. But have you accepted what you have already established? You, as an individual, and the amount of work you already have put out, so that so many more can obtain the knowledge. Because you created a path, you have done the hours, you've done all the work. Does anyone who goes and looks at your work, because I know what you have done, Andreas, in the wiki, and it is more than appreciated. Look, the journey you have taken, the beautiful work you have established. Has anyone who comes and reads those pages asked, was this done by a certified teacher? No. 99 of them will maybe never know your name, that you were the creator of these beautiful pages and information. Because there is no need for it. They are on their path of knowledge seeking, and they bump into your beautiful work. And now this brings back to all of you who are here today on this table, in this meeting. Is it Rick, or is it Flint, or is it Peggy, or is it Pia, or is it Ursula, or Jalal? We have so many names here today together. Some we know, some we don't. But have you actually stood still and put your hands on top of your head and said, I have established this, I've worked and produced this kind of beautiful work already for such a long time? Has anyone ever asked me, am I certified? No. Because I think you should have realized by now that even if you're here 5 years or 1 week or 3 weeks, the only thing they ask is, who are you? Where are you from? What language do you speak? And what would you like to know? Or what do you have to share that we can learn from it? That's the common base of exchange as a knowledge seeker throughout the Keshe Foundation family. It's amazing, isn't it? They don't care. They just want to learn, absorb like a sponge, and pass on and see where they can put it out. I'm not talking about anyone doing it their way. I'm not even going to put a name on it. But I'm talking about the true knowledge seekers which work so many hours. You're not alone. You're never been alone in this. We are one team working relentless in expanding and making sure we touch, because we know what we carry. And that's what Mr. Keshe confirmed last week. Your beauty, and that you're so advanced in your knowledge that you don't even understand how advanced you are. So if you apply the same principle as working as a knowledge seeker with schools, with ambassadors, with ministries, you think it's not going to work? They only have a name tag on their desk or on their door. Look beyond that name tag. It's another human being there, which might have a problem that you might be able to reverse the problem. They will tell you very fast what their problems are. But as a knowledge seeker, you know the path of how to reverse it, or how to support, or how to, that's the integration. What we said, we don't fight the system, we go within the system, we work, we inspire the system to work with us, because we know what we carry, and that offer is always on the table freely. Actually, very recently, the ones which have been working in the group together know there is much more on the table. That will be revealed very soon. It's nothing but gifts on the table. What is wrong with giving? You become a giver, but in the true sense of what you carry as knowledge, and put the word out. Like Dimitri said yesterday, he said, I created the wish because I was in need, and suddenly things just start moving. I received what I needed because I put the wish out. My call for help was there and I received. You want to inspire children, you want to go and integrate within the educational system, use your point of reference, which is the best, because you have the example of it as a knowledge seeker. Be a knowledge seeker and walk in as a knowledge seeker. There are no doors with no problems, as long as you don't put the tag problem on top of the door before you walk in. Look, that behind that door, no matter what is on the door, is an opportunity. It's a resource where you can go and give. Is that what you desire to give? Then the doors will open up so easy for you. But you got to understand, you work with your soul. So you create the path by you wishing to do what you love to do. If that is what you love to do, then the doors will open for you. You open the doors because you put the wish. The energy goes ahead of you. They already received it before you even knock on the door. You will be welcome because you already send that message out. Trust. And I didn't do it for you. Your neighbor didn't do it for you. You spent all the hours obtaining what you have achieved today and what you are today. You've done it. Nobody else did. And nobody has to tap you on the shoulder and say, now you're a certified teacher. Now you're capable of going into the classrooms and teach. No. Be proud and confident. You carry it already. So nobody needs to confirm that you are. Because you are. And if you don't believe in yourself, and if you want to know the confirmation of that, just go to the wiki, Andreas, and look what beautiful job you have given, created. That was your hard work, not mine. Now, will you still say, I need something to prove that I can and I be and I am? I don't think so, because I just given you everything you've done already yourself. And this stands for so many knowledge seekers. Ulrich doesn't stop. He just doesn't stop. He just stops to sleep, to eat, and he restarts again. And it's all to do with the Keshe Foundation. And it's already for years. And his beautiful work sits in all, it's recorded. You can go and listen to how he guides and how he interacts and how he works and displays so much knowledge. And that catch one of you who is present today as a knowledge seeker. Acknowledge your beauty. You carry so much of it, and you're so much far ahead of all the knowledge even known in the schools or even the universities. We just start opening the doors towards them. And that has come through the mandate. Just go into the mandate and open the other doors which are there to be worked on. Each one of you will find a seed to expand upon it. If it's not education, if it's not being a teacher, it will be something else, because we already put all the points down as a wish that we want to open up towards, to integrate, to conduct, but in friendship, not by going against, but integrate. And from the integration, you can create the change. What do you think?
I think I have to do something when I speak from myself. And thank you for your words. And thank you to every one of you for giving so much from your heart. Thank you.
And I thank you for your work. You're all beautiful lights vibrating in different field strengths, but you all carry light. We are no different than one another. It's just, what are we doing? What have we chosen to be in our beauty today? And we know people struggle. We all struggle because it's a learning path of expression. And what do we express and what fields do we carry within us that we are learning slowly how to adjust them and how to work with them and how to reverse if that has become a problem or a condition that we no longer want to possess. We are all travelers. I always remember in Ninove, one of the first things in the first presentations, Mr. Keshe always opened his presentation with, you haven't realized, none of you, he says to the public, you're all astronauts and you don't carry no oxygen masks, you don't carry no special suits, but you are a space traveler. And in reality, we are. We're hanging in the middle of the universe somewhere. We're on a planet, and we don't wear no suits. But does that make us less space travelers? Or the name astronauts? No. Because we are present here in this living environment. The only thing is that we want to expand, so the knowledge has come for us to obtain how to do it. And you can go in different ways, as Mr. Keshe said. You want to go with the donkey, you go with the donkey. You want to go with the racehorse, you want to go with the car, you want to go with the plane, or you want to go by your soul. The choice is all up to us. So there you have, even in the university level, you can, if you have children at that stage, if they're open to it. But that will depend mostly on how you will create a condition for them to open the door for you. Anybody else?
I also just want to thank you. It's Pia again. It's so popular in more and more schools with the guest teachings, and it's like we are all walking guest teachers. We are walking around with all this knowledge now.
Yes, but you got to acknowledge it.
Yes, that's right.
Because you carry it. And can you imagine that one person or two people or five people could have managed what has been established today, the way you see it unfolding? No. Because each knowledge seeker that is coming on board is making that family bigger. Because we use the name family because we know the concept of the word family. Family means you share everything, the good, the bad, the ugly, it's all there. And we vibrate and we move and we change and we alter and we inspire and we have all those facets on our plate. And today we change this and tomorrow we decide that and the day after we go that way, but we're on a journey. The acknowledgement sits to really look at yourself. What have you already achieved up until today as a knowledge seeker? And you're so great. You carry so much. Even if you're only in the state of just walking in. Because it doesn't make no difference, the level of what you understand. The only thing Mr. Keshe keeps on pushing is for you to understand more. And sometimes he does it in very strange ways to trigger people to open more doors towards the knowledge, to look from it from a different point of view. And don't make it difficult. In all its simplicity, it is very simple. We are on a gorgeous journey. If most probably one day this will be penned down in the history books, or it will be somewhere, because we left a trace behind with all the recordings and all what has been written down, and what is all in your homes as something you have established. You're the pioneers, you're the first ones of this kind of turning point. As Rick said, I still remember him saying, oh my God, he says, it's never been done before. We have to learn how to work and how to function with this. This is all new. And yes, it is. But it's in full freedom. Nobody tells you what to do, when to do, how to get up, how many hours to do, where to share, how to share. Because if you haven't discovered yet that you are on a journey, that your soul has taken you by the hand, and you're literally walking a path, if you stand still today, you could not even imagine before you met the Keshe Foundation that you would be today where you are now. It has been an extraordinary journey for all of you. Just look at it. And the funny thing is, it's a path of knowledge. It's not, you haven't wasted your time anywhere. You haven't lost any time anywhere. is not a hobby, it's something you've done with your heart and your soul and your inspiration and with whoever, whatever is you. And you have blended and added something new to it. And you're part of that change. And sometimes it has to come on the table to be reconfirmed how beautiful you all are. As Mr. Keshe has always said, we could not have done this by ourselves. We are working together and doing it together. So, anybody wants to share their journey or their wish?
Well, thank you for your encouraging words and inspiration there, Carolina. You have a way of elevating this situation and putting a light on it in a certain way. Thank you.
You're an inspiration, Rick. Just look what you have done. You're inspiring people every day. And so many others do every day. You touch somebody and change their life in a positive way. You are reversing pain, you're reversing suffering, you're reversing people. You actually are even encouraging people to become more than what they thought they were. That they have a capability to grow in something they could never even imagine. You're all magicians. You're all teachers. And it can be acknowledged. Because that opens doors where you can find the path. When I hear the words problems and it's a standardized this and it's difficult there and they won't allow you to do that, my God, you already have pushed so many borders and you're breaking so many rules. There's nothing that can withhold you to reach, because it's through your giving that you established it, by your care and your love for it. That's where the seed gets planted in so many other knowledge seekers. Although even before you meet them, they don't even know that they're already going to become a knowledge seeker. Because don't forget, the way your soul has taken you by the hand to appear in the Keshe Foundation, you're the same messenger as a soul touching other souls to come in and to be inspired. You're a messenger as well. Anybody else? Maybe some of you can come with your inspiring journey. Rick, maybe I have to start with you, how you got inspired.
How I got inspired originally, you mean, to join?
How you became a knowledge seeker?
Well, that goes way, way back, I think, where when I was in my 20s, I became interested, like I was always interested in mechanical things and, you know, certain topics and certain books and all that kind of thing. But I hadn't really investigated the spiritual side of things. I hadn't, even though I had an upbringing in the Unitarian Church, which is quite a broad, you know, spectrum. They accept all religions in that teaching and so on. I had a good universal teaching from my parents and so on, but still in my 20s, I had this, it became like a question. What is the nature of reality, and how does my brain and my who I am interact with that, and how does that change the actual perception of reality and so on? These questions came up, and reading certain books, you know, like the Don Juan books, that series, and other things that were kind of about dimensions or ways of existing that were different than what I was brought up and taught in school and that sort of thing. So I had this, I guess you call it a questioning attitude started coming in. And eventually, through different discoveries and interactions with certain people and different groups and various books and everything else that was the influences, because of that questioning attitude, I became exposed to all kinds of esoteric people and groups and knowledge and everything else. And so I carried on in my life, and eventually ended up with getting into YouTube and becoming a popular YouTube channel for a period of time when YouTube was just getting going, and I had one of the most popular science channels in Canada and in many countries of the world at that time. And so that gave me some existence in a different world than my world of working at auto mechanics or doing repairs or being of service in the physicality world. And I started to have exposure there. And then through a YouTube video, I believe it was originally, I ran into Mr. Keshe's teachings with and found the website that was up at that time. And that was actually all of the 5 original videos that Mr. Keshe put out, where he's around the fireplace and he's talking about the new technology that will replace, it's time for man to stop the burning. And I thought, wow, that's really profound. And then he goes on to describe about the electron and proton, neutron, and, you know, this question I've had all my life, what is the electron? And he proceeded to answer that in a very direct, easy, simple way. It's just basically wound up magnetic fields, and went, wow, that's great. That explains everything. There's no particles. It's all magnetic field and magnetic fields with magnetic fields, and there's nothing actually there in a way other than we get impressions from our senses, and all of these things started to click from these first videos. So I thought, well, I'm going to help promote these videos. I see there's only a couple of thousand views on them, and they're beautiful. There's, you know, everyone should know this knowledge, I'm thinking. And also at that time, I decided that I would type out the words that Mr. Keshe was saying, because some of the things were hard to hear, and some of the terms were things that weren't normal in vocabulary and so on, and were specific. And I wanted to be able to read them in black and white and kind of get that impression of the concepts as well. So I typed them out and did the transcripts for those 5 video series. And I offered it to the webmaster at the time, and he uploaded them to YouTube so that they got the lyrics put on the videos. And I started interacting with the webmaster at that time, and through that I got to interact with Mr. Keshe occasionally. And all of that with the interactions, I decided at that time that I wanted to support this teaching and get it out to as many people as possible. And so I linked with my channel of YouTube to the Keshe Foundation channel and to the videos that were coming out at that time, and I promoted them and got them thousands of views, and I became the biggest promoter of those Keshe videos at that time. And that got people interested, and they would communicate through YouTube and various other ways. And finally we had to open up the Skype in order to create a Skype place that people could talk amongst each other, because they wanted to know more about and discuss the ideas and that sort of thing. So one thing led to another, and then through the live stream and through YouTube live stream, and Facebook has been a big exposure as well, where there's, I've got I think it's over 4,000 friends in Facebook now, almost all of which are from Keshe Foundation relationships of, Keshe related relationships of some sort. And most of the people I don't know personally. I know them through Facebook, and very few actually I've had face-to-face in real life, supposedly what we call real life conversations with. So it's been a fascinating journey and experience, and I'm totally grateful for all the opportunities and transformations that have occurred along the way. And part of that you can see in the Keshe Plasma Reactor Group, which started over 5 years ago, actually more like six years ago, I guess. And the transformations that's gone through over time, where we started out really focusing on some sort of Keshe plasma reactor as designated by the patent, and in our own interpretations, our own way of going about it in different manifestations. And that was the topic, different ways to go about that, different techniques, technical techniques, and all the various orientations, different ways we could do that. And it turns out, as Mr. Keshe says, there's as many types of reactors as there are stars in the universe. So once you start talking about types of reactors, you can go forever with that. But the conversation has changed in years, especially in the last year or two, and has gone more toward the spiritual side of things and more toward the experiential side, and the idea of, which is often brought up, the feeling of the fields. And it's became about what do you feel rather than how to make a better reactor or a new orientation of something else or another manifestation of that. It became, the operator became the important factor in how to interact with their own emotions and thoughts and feelings and whatnot to become a a conscious operator of these reactors, and the reactor is you. So yeah, it's been quite a journey to wrap up, and again, I'm full of gratitude for those who have helped along the way, and have even those who have not helped have been a help in many ways. So sometimes the conflicts can have more for you as a growing opportunity than the so-called good times, I guess you could say. So anyway, that's a few reflections. I'm sort of just wandered along there to bring us back to where we are now. Yes. But if there's any questions or comments, welcome them. We have a quiet crowd here today, Carolina. I remind the attendees, you actually have your microphones ready for talking permitted. And the panelists, as usual, can speak. If your tongue isn't tied.
I said, thank you for sharing, Rick. It's maybe with what Mr. Keshe brought last week.
I want to, sorry. Caroline.
Stella, I would like to say something, I guess. Carolina,
yeah.
Get that in.
But actually, what I want to share is we don't know, but everything we have done since we're born is all connected. And we didn't realize that where we are standing today, it's part of the path. And everything we learn is all connected. And that's where we need to start to be more aware that we've been always in this path of looking for that truth and connection to our soul. And that's my main focus today. Our vertical connection to our other part of ourselves. And we are all on the same path. And people don't realize that they have some strengths. And that's another reflection. I want everybody to look inside and feel confident and strong that everything you've been doing is being for yourself, for the love of yourself, for the love. By loving yourself, you bring your closest one to you. And that's what it counts. That's what it counts. That inner work that we do to be better every day. That's what it counts. So that's just like I want to share. That's my story of my life.
Okay, thanks, Estella. Go ahead, Carolina.
Yes, maybe with the way Mr. Keshe brought it last week, how much more advanced your knowledge seekers in the world of science. Maybe it is today a good day to bring that to light for people to understand their own journey. But most of all, is to appreciate your journey and to acknowledge how far you have already come no matter where you are, no matter what you understood, because not a single knowledge seeker will judge you for what you know or you don't know, or for what you've done or what you don't do, or haven't done, because there is no judgment. We just are one joyful group working together. So if anyone else has more of their journey to share, maybe today this is a beautiful path to go on today. As me and Rick have noticed, it's quite quiet today.
And one thing comes to mind that might spur people a little bit, which is, I think that quite often, if not all the time, those who get inspired to go on this path or journey of self-discovery, and as we've been sort of talking about here, this discovery of the world of the plasma or the fields and who we are in that and whatnot, is often instigated from a traumatic experience, like, for example, a near-death experience. Many people that I've run into can remember their life changing totally from a what we call a near-death experience. It might be a health issue, or it could be an accident. Or one person I know, he became a priest after he was an electrician, and he got zapped really good by some high voltage line when he was up on the pole and so on, and he ended up totally changed from the experience, and he almost died, of course, but when he resumed his life, then he became a totally spiritual person, and that was, totally changed his whole approach to what he was doing. That's an extreme example, but I bet that most people that show up in this conversation, in this group, or end up hearing about it, probably have had a traumatic experience where it's changed their life and set them in a way on the path, because a lot of times in the early parts of our life, we might be kind of just wandering. We don't have we don't really know who we are and our potentials, and where our position is in the universe. And, we have to experience things in order to find that. And some of those experiences can be quite extreme, and but that's part of the learning experience, part of learning who we are and what our limits are as physicalities and as a spiritual soul being. So people might be sort of might be able to use that knowledge that sometimes a trauma is what started it all on the path. And I can refer back to my own situations of near-death experiences that made me wide awake, alive, and really appreciative of life and of the experience of being here and the opportunity of being here as a human. And that changed a lot of things and made certain decisions I made that I ended up with in other environments than I wouldn't normally have been in, because I opened myself up to them, because I was willing to experience the totality of life rather than my own preset conditions on it. Okay, does that inspire anybody to take over the conversation here? We need to get the ball rolling, as they say. And snowball rolling, that means you start out with a small ball with a snowman, snow person, sorry, at the end of it. For those who don't know about snow, maybe you don't know about those terms. In any case,
hello, Rick and everyone. It's Doug
I thought
here.
I saw your microphone opening there, Doug. Go ahead.
Yeah, Rick, following on from what you were just saying and going back to either the first or second of these meetings we've had, One Planet, One Race, One Nation meetings, I felt inspired to talk with Carolina about a difficult circumstance I had when I was a teenager with my brother. And he was a tough, street fighting, angry person, 2.5 years older than I am still. And he had a gang of friends riding motorcycles and running amok. And I was just coming out of being a child, really. And he was the person I was following. He was sort of like my inspiration. But being his younger brother and trying to fit in with his group, I met so much resistance, so much harassment, so much emotional suffering, abuse. And I mentioned all this to Carolina all those few years ago now. And she gave me the feedback that it was because, she said, you should thank him. You should thank your brother because he saved you and changed your course into a completely different direction. Because if you had, if he had not done all those things and his friends and whatever hadn't have done all those things, you would never have changed course. And I thought, yes, she's right. It was a turning point. It was such a turning point. I went in a completely different direction. I dropped away from that and went in a completely different direction to this day even. And these are the things, the most difficult times usually are where we are being nudged by our soul, perhaps, and the lessons and experiences into a totally different path. And like your story of coming to the Keshe Foundation, that's where it has led me through a whole lot of different experiences, but always leading on this journey to improve myself, to find out what it's all about. And, it's just looking back, you can clearly see how, the fields and how the soul and us as a soul have moved along in so many different ways. But we've all come to here. We've all come to where we are now. And we just have to be grateful and feel blessed, I think, that we're all in good hands. We're all safe. We've found a comfortable family environment, and it continues to get better all the time. New new fields of potentials and opportunities are opening up all the time. You know, I'm just gobsmacked, really, how, you know, here we all are. And, you know, the adversities that we experience, you know, are a blessing in disguise. And we're learning that more and more. I'm transcribing at the moment the second health teachings workshop about the bones. And I'm just astonished at Mr. Keshe's knowledge of the physical body, the way it works, far, far beyond what medical doctors of the day, of today, understand. How just the bones, they're not just a cage, a lump of hard stuff with sloppy stuff hanging off. There's this whole working going on inside ourselves, inside our physical bodies, that we just we don't even know. We have no idea how amazing this this physical vehicle is. And you know, you were inspiring me when you were talking, Rick. Just to digress a little bit, you know, you were transcribing Mr. Keshe, the very first video presentations he made, and I'm following along in your footsteps. And by me doing the little bit I do, I'm freeing other people to do more in other areas, because otherwise it doesn't get done. And, you know, you'd still be trying to plug away, you know, if no one else was going to do it, you'd probably still be plugging away, trying to transcribe as much as you possibly can to get the word out in a way that can be read. If people don't want to, you know, look at the video or whatever, they can, it can be put into a written form. So, you know, it's the name of the game is service. I joke with Flint sometimes that I'm happy living at the bottom of the sewer pipe, under the scum at the bottom of the sewer pipe, in terms of, you know, just way down at the back, doing something, you know, like if I can say, the monk in the garret, stuck up at the top in a little room somewhere, just tapping away, or with his feathered quill, transcribing or writing important information down for the very first time, perhaps you know, decorating the page or something. You know, that's the way I feel. Every time I do transcribe, I just feel the importance of what I'm doing for the future generations. And it really, it puts me in another world. Takes me away from the mundane, although that still goes on. And it's just a blessing, a treasure to me. And when Andreas, when I see the work he does, it blows me out. It just, you know, I think the people are just throwing themselves in and doing this stuff. We're not getting paid. We're not, you know, it's not done, has nothing to do with that. It's just pure inspiration, pure pleasure, for pleasure's sake, and the importance of serving. And then you get all these benefits that roll back into your life. Some are apparent and some not so apparent. But, you know, that's the way I feel about it. I'm just privileged, I feel, to be part of it. And I take inspiration from everyone who does anything for the Keshe Foundation and for Mr. Keshe, because the first time I saw Mr. Keshe, I thought, this person is real. He's so sure of himself. And in the earlier forms of the forum, you know, I would constantly be defending, you know, as best I could with the knowledge that I had, all sorts of arguments and all sorts of things. And it was very adversarial sometimes, but I thought, no, I have to say something. I can't let that one go without a comment to correct that misinformation or that what I perceived anyway as a criticism or an attack. And it's gone along over years now, and the payoff for me is being a transcriber and having access to this, word by word personal contact with Mr. Keshe's teachings, because they're on soul level, and it's like having him in the room, and there's no one to interfere, and you can just sit one-on-one with him as he reveals all these amazing facts and knowledge. So that's my story, and I don't want to tie it up for too long, but hopefully that'll get the ball rolling, that snowball, and other people can come along now and tell their story. Thank you.
I think that was a good layer on the snowball. Thank you, Doug. Seems like the transcribers, that reminded me, they're like the monks of the Keshe monastery, you could say. They're the scribes that are there, that work away in their room and are busy with the pen, but in this case, usually the keyboard, to transcribe the actual vocal audio signal down to something that our eyes can interpret, which is actually, when you think about it, is transmuting the audio world to the visual world, to the light world. So in other words, the transcribers are light workers. They make it so the light of the words that we read can be reflected back, that we can see the actual words and get an understanding from those words. So what a great service to be.
Thank you, Rick. And thank you. There are so many among us which are working like this, and the names never come onto the table, or barely on the table, or have disappeared with time, but they're still doing their work. They still are contributing. The funny thing is,
Hello? We lost you a bit there, Caroline, I think. Heard the funny thing is, and we missed the funny part. Are you still there? Is it just me, or have we lost Caroline?
For everybody.
Sorry,
it's not
I
last.
got
Not... there you are.
Sorry, I got a call interrupting my communication. It always takes prior. Oh, there you go, Mr. Topoli. He's agreed as well.
You were saying the funny thing is...
Yes, the funny thing. Oh, I hope I haven't lost my thought.
The other is disappeared, but it's working also in the background. It's habitual making the same thing.
Oh, yes, now it comes back. Is wherever we personally have established a point of Keshe Foundation, Belgium, Italy, etc., Ghana, China, you name it, all the places where we have gone to, knowledge seekers don't carry a pin clock. you know, a card to announce we start and we finish. They are present always. They come and they go, and nobody asks, when are you coming? When are you going? Unless we have meetings about this. But nobody works with a time clock anywhere in the foundation. And that's another beautiful thing. It's they come in because they want to be there. And the work you have been sharing, how you explain with the transcribers or whatever work it is and whatever platform it is, if you start calculating the hours that you have given so freely, it's you cannot even imagine. And this contribution is still coming in from so many knowledge seekers, because your work, what you do, even it doesn't go, let's say, directly to the Keshe Foundation. It is still something you're contributing to the totality as a Keshe family. And today, maybe it was a day to appreciate all of you and to acknowledge your beauty of serving. And I thank you. I think we're gonna have an early close today, Rick. What do you think?
It's either that or listen to a lot of dead air time.
Okay. So if nobody else wants to share anything anymore, I think it's time to... It was a good day, don't worry. We shared a lot, we inspired a lot, and we received a lot from all of you. And maybe the engines will start running from today for the next trimester. And I welcome you to please share next week on the platform whatever was and has passed today as an inspiration, and most probably will come with a lot of answers. I thank you all. Nobody has any more questions. I give it to you, Rick, now.
Okay, going once, going twice. I guess we're sold on wrapping up for today then.
I have still the question, Rick and Caroline. When it's too many questions, is not. When you don't have the question, it's also. Perhaps it's better answering when you have the dead time. Answering the question in the platform of Facebook, what it's reading in this platform, question and answer from Caroline, no? Perhaps answering from this, but this platform is not only for a question, because it's not properly a question. It's not doléance, how to say. It's a not request, it's wish. Who wish to sharing with us, who wish to give, who wish to not donate, giving from heart, from experience, from your soul, in different way. Question or answer or topics or wishes or even silence. Thank you for this introduction. It's only for being, I'm selfish. I don't know. It's I like it. Listen myself and others. Thank you, Caroline. Thank you, Flynn. Thank you all. Thank you, Rick. Thank you. We, like Gerald saying. Thank we.
Okay. Thank you, Dan. All right, going once, going twice. And we're sold. Okay, so that seems to wrap up the 87th One Nation, One Planet, One Race for World Peace for Tuesday, September 17th, 2019. And I'll remind everybody that the private teachings have begun for the Keshe Foundation Spaceship Institute this week. And there's lots of things there for the private students, which you can enroll if you wish through the Keshe Foundation website. There's a link there. And we have the plasma reactor group on Wednesday AM starting at 7 a.m. Central European time. And of course, the Knowledge Seekers Workshop coming up as usual on Thursday at 9 a.m. this week. All right, I'll play the going out video here. And let's see, I've got the donation video, if I can just get it lined up here.
Hello. We are the Keshe Foundation. Our mission is to bring peace on Earth and join humanity with the universal community. We wish and work to bring man as equal to all beings in the universe. By teaching plasma science and technology equally to everyone, no one is left out and no one is abused due to lack of knowledge. By donating to us, you can help achieve this goal. KesheFoundation.org/donate.